We have gotten word on the street that man Vince McMahon is looking at starting his own company. Is it a wrestling company? Hell no. Nah. Is it a media company? Hell yeah. He looking at, getting into filming, producing, all that. Whatever Vince McMahon has done in the past in terms of businesses, aside from WWE, has not ended up too well. Let's just put the XFL out there for a second
I mean, shout
and
out to
and see
the
where that
World
goes.
Bodybuilding Federation, man, the WBF.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bro, it just doesn't work out unless it's wrestling. So, Omer, obviously, there's a big stench going on with Vince McMahon anyway, so it kind of makes it hard to even really want to work beside him and work with a company that's that he owns at this point in time. How do you feel about this?
Well, first of all, let me just say, man, I don't know who wants to touch anything that this man's been around right now, because yeah, two lawsuits, lawsuits involving some very, very serious allegations, allegations that Vince apparently knew about with the Ring Boy lawsuit. Ooh, it's dirty, it's messy, it's disgusting, but it's also Vince McMahon. Look, the the old adage always is that Vince McMahon would never die, right? Like that, if he was gonna go, he was gonna go in the chair. And I think this is just another kind of proof of that, like, idea that no matter what, he's like a cockroach. He's gonna do whatever he can to try to crawl back into the fold. And the PW Insider report, for those of you who may not know, chronicled the idea that Vince McMahon had basically set up the infrastructure for what he called an entertainment hub company, which would essentially fund a lot of television and movie projects in Hollywood, because Vince is all about making movies, pal. And he brought with him Brad Bloom, who was a former chief operating officer over in WWE, as well as another former WWE executive. And the word is that, like, the reason they left was because they were probably going to work on a project with Vince McMahon. Now, this company, as of right now, has not been officially announced. It is only been chronicled in reporting
In the
by
works.
a few different outlets. Exactly. And the kicker is, it's only expected to be announced, Brian, when/if, this is the quote from both reports, when/if
He gets
these
cleared.
lawsuits are settled. Now, Brian, look, man.
Before we move on, though, let's not forget, because he talked about people not wanting to be next to whatever Vince McMahon is building. Apparently, he has some WWE alumni beside him with this project. If you had to take any guesses at this moment, who do you think is
it's
possibly working with him?
It's the people I just mentioned. It's Brad Bloom. It's another woman who used to work in WWE for their Hollywood, like their Hollywood connections. I saw one tweet out there that said, "Oh, The Rock is helping Vince get back into Hollywood," which I don't see that happening anytime soon, people. But yeah, I do think, like, he kind of has. Look, this is someone who has a lot of money right now. Like, let's be honest, Brian. This man has sold nearly every stock he has in WWE, hundreds of millions of dollars in pure cash money. This man can literally be like Scrooge McDuck, dive in and swim in it if he wanted to today. He's got money to spend, he's got money to burn, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I just don't see this actually ending up being a thing, though, just because
Yeah,
of the contingency with the lawsuits.
I do agree. It's one of those things, bro, where I don't think it's gonna happen whatsoever. If it does, I'd be very surprised. But there's no way in hell.
No
This
chance in hell, say
yeah,
it.
there's no chance in hell, bro, that this company ever gets even revealed. Because I just don't think he's gonna get cleared as fast as he possibly wants to. I mean, if they settle it out of court, I mean, that's a different story for another day. But I'm sure he's probably tried everything. This guy has tons of money at the moment.
Brian, like, think of the situation. Think of the situation, right? We're talking about, number one, the Janelle Grant lawsuit, which he could look. We don't know what that's going to end up being, but even if he try, I think he would try to settle that. But even if he did,
He
right?
probably
Like,
has though. He's probably already tried to settle it.
but the trial isn't even ongoing, because related to that, he's under federal investigation,
Yeah.
which, that's a whole nother can of worms that we haven't even really talked about in depth, right? Like, that's like if that happens, then forget the company. My boy's
Mhm.
gonna be Well, not my boy. My boy is going to be under the jail if that ends up
Yeah,
happening. So you have those situations. You also
about to be
have
with Diddy and them.
um, you got to get him in once a video, but then you have also the Ring Boy scandal, which I don't even think is going to be like eligible to even be you know, to even come up with some sort of a of a deal or whatever until much later because it was just filed. And then like you have the component within that like report which was like the FBI knew about 10 boys that Mel Phillips had allegedly assaulted, which Vince McMahon in a early 1990s report admitted to knowing about. So like there is just messy situations, and this guy, I just think it is wishful thinking. But at the end of the day, I will never put anything past a billionaire because these are the most powerful, influential people on the planet.
Yeah,
They will do whatever they want, whenever they want, until
whatever
they
it takes.
absolutely can't. And that's just how the world works, unfortunately. But I just don't know, man. Like, and also, like, I'm sorry, what's your Vince McMahon funding movies? Like, come on, bro. This man's gonna be like, oh, yeah, look at a big beefy man, and it's gonna have it's gonna be crazy. Like, I don't want to see any movies by Vince McMahon. You see him book the last 5, 6, 7 years of WWE
It
TV. It
that
was
bro.
trash.
I just and I heard that it was gonna be more like of a media distribution, so he might not even be producing it. It just sounds like it
Listen,
would be
man.
published under that media company. But again, bro, we haven't seen nothing really work under Vince McMahon that's not the WWE. Like let's just be honest. He may be an awesome businessman when it comes to wrestling, but everything else he's tried outside of wrestling, obviously you give somebody props for trying, but it has not worked out. So I really have no faith in this working out, especially now that he has all of this going on. I don't think there's going to be many people willing to risk their reputation and putting their company's reputation on the line.
That's the other thing too. He is toxic baggage right now. And if you're a major television distributor, if you were a
You
major
definitely
production
don't want
company,
that.
man, at the very least, that is going to drive down the price of whatever Vince is selling significantly just with him being the front man of all this. Because if there's one thing that Los Angeles, Hollywood, the entertainment industry is very sensitive about right now, it is the types of allegations that Vince McMahon has. And the big question on everyone's mind, though, I think, Brian, are we going to get Vince McMahon back in the world of professional wrestling through this
Ever.
company?
Never. I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I don't think there's no space for him anymore.
I will say this. I think that if, and again, this is a huge if they get to that point, if this company ever gets off the ground, I would not be surprised if Vince McMahon like ends up getting back into wrestling in some way, shape, or form. And I don't mean being in WWE. I like he has, if there's anyone who has the resources to start a company, it's Vince. And I think just based off of the interest alone, there will be an early groundswell of like not support necessarily, but people will work for him because it's exposure and things like that. But it is going to be a messy time if we get to that point. Also that booking is going to be trash, and we all know it. Let's not kid ourselves. That man was not good. That man was not good at his
Yeah.
job the last couple of years. But Brian, it's going to be a wild ride.
No, it's going to be a wild one for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And yeah, man, maybe we see this man back again in the industry, but I don't think so. Let us know down below. What do you think will happen with Vince McMahon, man? And make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to go on ahead and hit that sub button again. So I'm going to catch y'all